Baltimore General, an episodic medical drama. Written by Blue Bolton. Episode 1, Transfer of Care, Chapter 2. The stillness of the parking garage wrapped around Emilia like a second skin. She sat motionless behind the wheel of her Volvo, watching the dashboard clock tick over to 6:12 a.m. Her shift didn't start until 7. She'd planned it this way. Time to acclimate, to breathe, to prepare. 48 minutes before she officially became doctor. Emilia Carter, Baltimore General's newest trauma attending. Concrete dust and exhaust fumes hung in the air, a stark contrast to the antiseptic corridors awaiting her. Her fingernails freshly trimmed to regulation length, no polish drummed against the leather steering wheel. The thin platinum band on her left hand hid an untanned strip on her olive skin and caught the dim garage lighting with each tap. She lifted her travel mug to her lips, the lukewarm coffee's hint of cinnamon washing over her tongue. That first sip transported her back to medical school textbooks sprawled across her desk at 3 a.m., eyes burning, shoulders hunched. 15 years later, the taste remained a comfort while everything else shifted beneath her feet. The rearview mirror reflected dark half-moons beneath her eyes that her 5 a.m. concealer application couldn't quite hide. Not just morning-tired, her body sagged with the weight of having yanked up roots and thrust them into foreign soil. "You chose this," she whispered, her voice evaporating in the empty car. Baltimore hadn't appeared randomly on a map. She'd scrutinized hospital rankings, case statistics, staff turnover rates. Baltimore General's trauma program boasted the prestige she needed and most crucially sat 3 hours and 12 minutes from D.C. She'd timed the drive twice. Her phone screen glowed as she scrolled through messages. 2 from her mother with variations of, "Did you arrive safely?" 1 from Preston, sent well after midnight. "Hope your first day goes well. The house feels empty without you." The words blurred as she searched within herself for the proper emotional response. Guilt, longing, relief. 12 years of marriage should have programmed the correct reaction to her husband mentioning her absence. Instead, her chest contained only hollow space where those feelings should reside. Her thumbs tapped out. "Thanks. We'll call tonight." Professional, polite, perfect. The facade she'd maintained throughout their marriage remained intact across state lines. Preston had accepted her transfer with the same pleasant detachment that characterized most aspects of their relationship. He'd folded her blouses into suitcases, brushed his lips against her cheek at the door, and returned to his legal briefs without disrupting his routine. "A few months apart will be good for us," he'd said, as if their marriage needed breathing room rather than defibrillation. The manila folder on the passenger seat bore her fingerprints from countless nervous adjustments. Her onboarding paperwork is signed, dated, organized chronologically. Her fingertip traced the embossed hospital logo, feeling each raised letter. Baltimore General wasn't just a fresh start, it was redemption. No one here had seen Grace Hanley's monitor flatline. No one had witnessed the headlines, the investigation, the quiet settlement with its mountain of non-disclosure agreements. Here, she could be just doctor. Carter competent, composed, controlled. 6:17 a.m. glowed on the dashboard. The rational hemisphere of her brain, the part that had navigated medical school, residency, and her first attending position, urged her inside. Tour the department before the morning rush, memorize protocols, learn nurses' names. Her knuckles whitened around the steering wheel. What if they saw through her? What if they already knew? The thought slithered down her spine, cold and familiar. She'd scrubbed her digital footprint before applying, checking every news archive and medical forum. The story had remained contained, kept from national headlines. Human Resources had called her references, verified her credentials. On paper, she gleamed. But hospitals whispered, attendings gossiped over coffee, nurses remembered names. Emilia's eyes drifted closed. 4 counts in through her nose, 7 counts holding the breath in her chest, 8 counts releasing it slowly. The pattern her therapist had taught her during those dark months after Grace. Her reflection looked steadier when she opened her eyes, more like the woman who'd graduated top of her class, more like the doctor patients trusted with their lives. "One day at a time," she murmured, reaching for her bag. A low, powerful rumble reverberated through the concrete pillars. Emilia's hand froze on the door handle as a sleek black motorcycle weaved between parked cars, its engine growling in the morning quiet. The rider guided the machine into a reserved space near the elevator, each movement precise and deliberate. The Ducati gleamed under fluorescent lights, all smooth lines and controlled power. For a moment, the rider sat motionless, a study in stillness after motion. Then gloved hands reached up, removing the matte black helmet. Dark curly hair tumbled free, striking silver streaking the temples, undercut in a sharp style that accentuated a strong jawline wrapped in flawless brown skin. Even from a distance, intensity radiated from the woman's posture, spine straight, shoulders squared, head tilted at an angle that suggested she was accustomed to being heard. She dismounted with fluid grace, hanging her helmet on the handlebar before retrieving a leather messenger bag. Black jeans hugged her legs, disappearing into boots that clicked against concrete. Her fitted leather jacket stretched across her shoulders as she turned, revealing the hospital ID clipped to her belt. Something about her demanded attention, not just her appearance, but the deliberate economy of her movements. No wasted energy, no hesitation. Emilia's lungs burned before she realized she'd been holding her breath. Something familiar flickered about the woman, though Emilia knew they'd never met. She would have remembered. The elevator doors opened. The woman stepped inside, disappeared. The garage fell silent again, save for the ticking of Emilia's cooling engine. She exhaled slowly, aware that she'd been staring. Something about the woman had triggered a response of curiosity, perhaps, or recognition of a confidence Emilia had always tried to cultivate, but never fully embodied. 6:23 a.m. glowed green on her dashboard. Time to move. Emilia gathered her travel mug, folder, bag, and stepped out of the car. Concrete pressed solid beneath her sensible heels as she locked the vehicle and tugged her blazer straight. When the elevator doors slid open, leather and sandalwood scents lingered inside. Emilia stepped in, pressing the button for the main lobby. Her reflection in the polished metal doors looked smaller than she felt. Her cream blouse and navy blazer chosen to project confidence without intimidation. The woman on the motorcycle had projected something entirely different, something unconcerned with appearing non-threatening. Morning light streamed through tall lobby windows as the doors opened. Staff members crossed the polished floors, their voices a gentle hum beneath the institutional quiet. The reception desk stood empty, but a security guard nodded as she approached, her new ID badge already extended. "Dr. Carter," she said. "It's my first day." "Welcome to Baltimore General," he replied, scanning her badge. "Trauma department is through those doors. Take the east elevators to the 3rd floor." "Thank you." Her lips curved into her vacant smile, pleasant without revealing anything beneath. The hospital's scent enveloped her antiseptic, coffee, and that underlying note that spoke of bodies and their various states of distress. Her heels clicked against the tile as she moved through the corridor. The east elevator bank stood empty, its doors reflecting her approach. She pressed the call button, watching the numbers track the car's descent. What would her new colleagues see when they looked at her? The promising doctor from Georgetown? The woman who'd transferred without explanation? Would they sense the weight she carried, or would her careful composure hide it? The elevator arrived with a soft chime. Emilia stepped inside, pressed 3, and watched the doors close on her reflection. 30 minutes until her shift officially began. 30 minutes to become the version of herself Baltimore General had hired, confident, capable, unencumbered by the past. The elevator rose smoothly, carrying her toward her new beginning. Emilia straightened her shoulders, lifted her chin, and prepared to step into the role she'd rehearsed for weeks. Dr. Carter, trauma attending, professional, perfect.